Welcome back to 504 Road Trips. Today will be our last video of the Baton Rouge series for now, and we're going to take Nicholson Drive, which carries LA-30 out of Baton Rouge to the Iberville Parish line. We begin at the edge of downtown Baton Rouge, at the beginning of Nicholson Drive, and at the northern terminus of LA-30. LA-30 is bannered north and south here, although along the entire stretch of Nicholson Drive, there is only one bannered highway shield. Where LA-30 crosses I-10 for the second time, it's bannered east-west. Here, Nicholson Drive runs along the western edge of the LSU campus, with the Bernie Moore Track Stadium, Pete Maravich Assembly Center, and Tiger Stadium on our left, and then the Alex Bach Stadium and Skip Bertman Field on the right. As we cross Burbank Drive, the LSU Golf Course is on the right-hand side of the road. On the right is the development known as Tigerland, which is where many LSU students walk to on virtually every day of the week to go and consume their adult beverages. I was fortunate and got to live in one of the apartment complexes in Tigerland that had been completely remodeled just prior to when I moved in, and most of the units were empty as they hadn't repopulated after they'd been redone. I'd done summer research at LSU and lived in one of the apartment-style dorms that I shared with 3 other students, and I thought that I'd familiarized myself with the area surrounding the school pretty well. Unfortunately, I did not partake in the activities that went on in the Tigerland bars while I was doing my research. I was doing math, and the apartment complex had a nice ad with a great furnished model apartment to woo potential victims. I mean renters. But the lease was signed and I found out what it was like to try to sleep every single night while listening to the thump of house music half a block away. Despite the fact that my apartment complex was really the nicest and safest one in Tigerland when the gates worked, which they never once all worked at the same time, they couldn't compete with the really rundown complexes that filled the rest of the neighborhood. So they decided to offer a move-in special with 0 deposit, free first month's rent, and the rent for the new tenants, not those of us who are already locked into a lease where our rent was literally $300 more than what the new tenants would pay for the same units. And life got really bad really fast. I wish I could say that I liked living so close to campus that I could ride my bike until it was stolen, but I can't lie. I just feel bad for my poor roommate who was finishing up his PhD dissertation, and because management was hemorrhaging money when his central air died, they gave him a window unit on the ground level. That's not done in any city in Louisiana, and it took less than a week before his apartment was burglarized and virtually everything of value was taken. I didn't see how badly they'd trashed his place, but I kind of knew based on how defeated he became after the incident. His renter's insurance wouldn't pay because it was somehow his fault that he was broken into because he had a window unit on the ground level, and the management of the apartment complex refused to help him, stating that he needed to be properly insured. It was one of the conditions that lessees agreed to when they signed the lease upon moving in. So my opinion of Tigerland is that there's no good reason to go there, unless you have an exam the next morning at 8 o'clock a.m. and you really want to bomb it to the degree where it will bring your GPA down a point. If you don't get alcohol poisoning, you might get hit by a car walking back to the expensive apartment that your parents are renting for you to the tune of about $900 per month. And if you're really lucky, you'll forget your keys at the bar you were at, and you'll forget which bar you were at. Excuse my bias. The neighborhood is also filled with apartments that are run down, but the rents are quite a bit less than living in any of the new student housing that is being built directly adjacent to campus. The brand new apartments are being built at a rate that gives one pause with regard to whether these new domiciles are being assembled using the highest quality materials or even keeping in mind the current best practices for the design and assembly of multifamily housing. Additionally, if a student wishes to live in one of the nice, new, safe, gated communities, he or she has to have a third-party guarantor, usually a parent, to agree to pay for the rent should the student default on the rent. These apartments are set up to be somewhat of a hybrid between a dorm and an apartment, And depending upon how much your parents love you and availability, the units are designed for between 1 and 4 people to live in. We conclude our video here as we leave East Baton Rouge Parish and enter Iberville Parish and the town of St. Gabriel. Thanks for watching, and thanks for listening to my rant about Tigerland. If you'd like to help support our channel, please check out our merchandise at 504roadtrips.spreadshirt.com. If you liked this video, please give us a thumbs up, post a comment, subscribe, share, and follow us on social media, and join us for our next 504 road trip.